Jeanine Matthews, Kate Winslet sends a message to every faction in the city. She says that after the war, peace seemed unattainable. Now, she feels the opposite way, and that peace can be achieved so long as they purge the city of their one enemy, the Divergents. At the same time, Jeanine's men go to the Prior home in Abnegation and retrieve a box with the symbol of each faction on it, holding what is believed to be a message from the founders of the city. They need a Divergent to unlock it. Beatrice Prior, Shailene Woodley, runs back to her home in Amity with her brother Caleb and lover Ford. She approaches the residents of Amity, but they all stand away from her. Trish sees her parents Andrew and Natalie says that Trish killed her and all of the people around her. This is only a nightmare. In reality, Trish is adjusting to Amity with Caleb, Ford, Peter, and Ford's father Marcus, Ray Stevenson. Ford remains distant from Marcus, despite how much he wants to talk to his son. During lunch, Trish talks about wanting to go back to Air Unite and kill Jeanine to prevent more deaths from happening. Caleb argues that this is a bad idea. Peter makes a comment on not getting Caleb killed, just like how Trish got her parents killed. Enraged, Trish attacks Peter with a knife, cutting his cheek. The leader of Amity, Johanna Reyes, calls Trish to her office, saying that her presence in what is supposed to be a peaceful community is distracting and that they may be asked to leave. Johanna warns Trish not to let her want for revenge get a hold of her. Then, a team of Vans, led by Eric and Max, comes bursting through the gates, hunting for Divergents. Trish, Ford, and Caleb hide in the office, but Peter rats them out, forcing them to make a run for it. The soldiers aim their guns at them, and Marcus stands in their way, leading to him getting knocked out as Ford watches. The three evade the soldiers and make it down to the train tracks. Ford holds the soldiers off and just manages to jump over the tracks before the train hits him. The three hop the train and encounter a large group of factionless people led by Edgar, Johnny Weston. They violently attack the three after Edgar almost pushes Caleb off the train. In self-defense, Caleb ends up beating one factionless to death, horrifying him. They stop attacking when Ford says his name is Tobias Eaton. Knowing who he is, the factionless take the three to their leader and Ford's mother, Evelyn, Naomi Watts. She explains that she faked her death when Ford was 6 because Marcus was too abusive, but she regrets leaving her son behind. Her plan is to unite the factionless and dauntless to fight back against Jeanine and her forces. Ford refuses to have any part in his mother's plans. That night, Trish is sleeping with Ford when Evelyn appears in the doorway. She sits by the bed and asks Trish if she thinks he will still love her when he realizes what she really is. Trish then sees Ford bloodied by her side. It's another nightmare. The next morning, Trish and Ford head to Candor, but Caleb heads in another direction. In Candor, Trish and Ford unite with the surviving Dauntless, including Christina, Zoe Kravitz, and Tori, Maggie Q. Christina asks Trish if she's heard from their friend Will, unaware that Trish had to kill him in his hypnotic state. Trish says she hasn't heard anything. Trish and Ford are then apprehended and brought before the Candor leader Jack Kang. Doesn't believe that they are truthful in what they say about Jeanine issuing the attacks and then framing them for crimes she committed. Ford convinces Jack to let the two of them stand trial. Ford is injected with the truth serum and stands before the Candors. He tells them how he joined Dauntless to escape his father's abuse and that he planned to join the factionless until he fell in love with Trish. Trish goes up with the serum in her, but the more she resists telling the truth, the more it pains her. She then admits that she was responsible for the deaths of many, including her parents and Will, to the shock and anger of Christina. Back in Erudite, Jeanine is testing Divergents out to see who can unlock the box. She has a girl put in a simulation, but the girl dies. Jeanine determines that a particularly special Divergent must be brought to complete the task. Peter comes in and swears loyalty to Erudite. He tells Jeanine the best way to get Trish to give herself up is to play to her humanity. Trish stands on a rooftop where she is approached by a young man named Uriah, engages in pleasant conversation with Trish when Eric and his soldiers invade and start shooting the Candors with the sim serum to the neck. He has people lined up and starts to scan them to see which Divergent it is that they need. Max comes over to scan Trish and sees she is 100% Divergent. Ford shows up and fights Eric, bringing him to his knees with a gun to his head. Eric asks if Ford can live with killing someone the way Eric already has. Ford shoots him in the head. The sim serums activate on Christina, a young boy, and a girl named Marlene as they stand over a ledge. They chant in unison for Trish to turn herself in or more will die. The three of them move closer as Trish and Tori run to rescue them. Tris grabs Christina and Tori grabs the boy, but Marlene falls over to her death. Forey turns to Factionless to join his mother's cause against Erudite. A guilt-ridden Tris decides that she must turn herself into Jeanine if she wants to prevent any more deaths. Once she gets to Erudite, she is immediately taken in and brought to the sim room. Caleb, having rejoined Erudite, meets Tris in the sim room before it commences. He claims it is selfless of him to allow his sister to risk herself for the good of many. Tris is stuck with multiple wires and must go through a simulation of every faction to unlock the box. Her first test is a dawnless sim. She is in the ruins of the city where she sees her mother in the building. The building catches fire, and Natalie calls Tris for help. Tris runs to her as the building starts to float into the air. She grabs a pipe and climbs to the top. She falls off briefly but manages to catch up and climb into the home to grab onto her mother. After she passes this, she must go through the Cantor sim, in which she confesses to a sim of her mother that she is scared most of the time and just wishes to be safe again. All of a sudden, Ford appears, breaking her out with others behind him. Tris gets a gun and faces Peter on the floor. She spares his life and keeps going. She then realizes that Ford isn't real, and she passes the sim, belonging to Erudite. She also passed the abnegation sim by sparing Peter's life. Tris starts to lose energy, and Jeanine reluctantly allows her to rest up before continuing. When the tests continue, Tris is put in the Amity sim, which puts her in a confrontation with Jeanine. Tris attacks her, and the building around her explodes and collapses, and she hit the ground after falling hundreds of feet. This causes her to appear dead, to Janine's frustration. Peter brings Tris's motionless body to Ford, who reacts angrily toward Peter. Tris then gasps a breath of air, and Peter leaves Ford to attack the guards, now helping the heroes out. Peter gets into the computer system and lets Tris go through the Amity sim again. This time, she is forced to fight herself, as she is the one person she hates more than Jeanine. Sim Tris taunts real Tris over the deaths of her loved ones, but real Tris knows she will eventually be able to forgive herself. After she passes this, the box is unlocked. Everyone sees what the message is. A woman, Janet McTeer, says that everyone in the city was part of an experiment to see if humanity can continue to thrive, and that the true saviors of this world would be the Divergents. So if one were to unlock this message, it would mean everyone is ready to go beyond the walls of the city. Knowing this would eliminate her power, Jeanine orders the box to be hidden from everyone, and for Tris and Ford to be executed. The factionless army then invades, seizing Jeanine and the box. The message is played throughout all the factions. Everybody starts heading toward the walls and outside the city. Tris is seen as a hero for leading them to a new discovery. Meanwhile, Jeanine watches from the window in her cell as everybody advances beyond the city. Evelyn comes in behind her. Jeanine says that after 200 years since the city came to be, she wonders what could be out there. Evelyn tells her she'll never find out, and she kills Jeanine with a bullet to the back of the head. Picking up shortly where the first film, Divergent, ended.